Ships with Indian crew on board under attack near the Strait of Hormuz. 3 Indian sailors on tanker MT Settebello lost their lives. India calls the attacks deeply worrying, demands an immediate end to violence against commercial shipping. But guess what? No one is ready to take the blame. Washington blames Tehran. Tehran blames Washington. Donald Trump says Iran targeted Indian vessels. Iran calls that claim pathetic. And in the middle of this blame game stands India, demanding answers. The bigger question is this: when superpowers fight their wars, why are Indian lives paying the price? Let's lay out the timeline. It started on June 8th. The tanker MT Marivex, Palau-flagged, 24 crew, all Indian, was attacked off the coast of Oman. Oman airlifted the crew to safety. 2 days later, on June 10th, another Palau-flagged tanker, MT Settebello, was hit. 24 Indians on board. 21 were rescued. 3 did not survive. The next day, June 11th, a third vessel was struck. This one caught fire. Indian crew on board again. 3 ships, 3 attacks. All within days. All with Indian sailors caught in the line of fire. And here's the part that matters most. The U.S. Central Command itself admitted it. CENTCOM said it used Hellfire missiles to strike and disable 3 vessels, MT Jalvir, MT Settebello, and MT Marivex, over 4 days as part of its blockade on Iran's oil trade. 65 crew members were rescued from the 3 ships. Now here's where it gets messy. U.S. President Trump posted on Truth Social, blaming Iran for these attacks. He said Iran launched drone against Indian ships leaving the Strait of Hormuz, calling it totally unacceptable. He also accused Iran of leaking the details of a peace deal under negotiation. But think about this for a second. CENTCOM, Trump's own military, had already said it was the U.S. Navy that struck these ships with Hellfire missiles. Trump's own forces took credit for the strikes. And yet Trump is now pointing the finger at Iran for an attack on the very same Indian ships. That's not a small contradiction. That's the U.S. president appearing to contradict his own army's official account, in public, on social media, while 3 Indian families are mourning their dead. Iran did not let this slide. Iran's embassy in India put out a statement calling Trump's accusation simply baseless. Their words were blunt. They said it was an attempt to divert attention from what they called the brutal fact that the U.S. had attacked 3 Indian vessels in less than a week and killed 3 innocent Indian sailors. And then came the line that's now everywhere. Iran called it, quote, "That's pathetic." So now you have the 2 biggest powers in this conflict, the United States and Iran, each blaming the other for an attack that killed Indian citizens. Neither side is taking responsibility in a way that satisfies India. And India is stuck holding the bodies of its sailors while Washington and Tehran argue about who's lying. This is where India stopped being a bystander. External Affairs Minister Jaishankar picked up the phone and called U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio directly. He didn't soften it. Jaishankar said he reiterated India's strong protest at the attacks by the U.S. Navy in the Gulf that killed 3 Indian mariners. His words were direct. Such lethal actions against commercial shipping are not justified. Read that again. India's External Affairs Minister telling America's number 3 in command on record that the U.S. Navy's actions were not justified. That is about as sharp as diplomatic language gets between 2 partners. And it didn't stop at a phone call. India's Ministry of External Affairs summoned the U.S. Chargé d'Affaires, Jason Meeks, not once, but twice. The first time after the Settebello deaths. The second time after yet another vessel with 20 Indian crew came under attack. Step back, and here's what this week tells you. India has 13 Indian-flagged vessels currently stranded in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. blockade, running since April 13th, has disabled 7 vessels it calls non-compliant, redirected over 100 ships, and allowed dozens carrying humanitarian aid to pass. 2 of the ships involved in these incidents were under U.S. Treasury sanctions. One was classified as non-compliant. But none of that changes the basic fact. Indian citizens went to work on commercial ships, and they came home in coffins, caught between a U.S. blockade and an Iranian war, with Washington and Tehran too busy blaming each other to take responsibility. India has stayed neutral in this war. It hasn't picked a side between the U.S. and Iran. But neutrality didn't protect the Indian sailors. And this week, India made it clear. Neutrality doesn't mean silence. Jaishankar called it out directly. Diplomats were summoned twice. The protest is on record in writing, from India's foreign minister to America's Secretary of State. The blame game between Washington and Tehran will continue. But for India, the question is no longer who is lying. The question is, how many more Indian sailors have to die before someone, anyone, takes responsibility?
If they had a nuclear weapon,
The old rules are breaking. Alliances are shifting.
Apologize again to the victims of the paedophile Jeffrey Epstein.
Wars are redrawing maps. Oil routes can shake economies overnight. One election in America can impact markets in Mumbai.
no tax on tips.
One move by China can alter the balance in Asia. One conflict in West Asia can hit every Indian household. This is no longer a distant story. This is our story. Your story. Because for the first time in decades, India is not watching from the sidelines. India is rising. India is negotiating. India is balancing rivals. India is building military strength. India is shaping trade routes. India is becoming central to the new global order. And yet, most global news is still told through someone else's lens. Washington's lens, Beijing's lens, London's lens. But where is India's lens? Where is the platform that explains the world from our perspective? Welcome to India's Axis, a new destination for geopolitics, strategy and power seen through India's eyes, from Neighborhood Watch to the biggest global stories that matter to you. Why tensions in the Taiwan Strait matter to India, how one move by China can affect India's security, what turmoil in Pakistan means for regional stability, how Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and Bhutan shape India's neighborhood, why oil choke points can hit your wallet, how wars abroad can reshape India's security. This is not noise. This is not shouting. This is not recycled headlines. This is sharp, intelligent storytelling, daily explainers, war room analysis, strategic conversations, because news is everywhere. But perspective is rare, and in the age of confusion, clarity is power. Axis is for the audience that wants more than headlines. The axis of global power is shifting. India is at the center of that shift. It's time the world was explained accordingly, to understand the world through India's strategic lens. Subscribe now.